all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean. Keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
People make the world go.
And a pleasant good day to you and yours. Welcome to another presentation of Inside the News. And with me today is the one and only, the inimitable Mr. Chesley Hamilton. Good day to you, sir. How are you and what's on your mind today?
Good morning, Quint. Good morning to the listening audience at home and abroad, especially those in St. Kitts and Nevis. And what's on my mind? Well, it's the 1st of November. Baseball is on my mind.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
How is that?
Because having lived in Toronto for some 17 years,
yes,
you know, the Blue Jays are in the World Series, and, you know, they were up 3-2 yesterday. They lost last night, so they're going to play tonight, Game 7, to see who win the World Series against the Dodgers. So baseball is on my mind.
Well, I would hope that they win for your sake, yeah.
But what is
Well,
funny,
before you go to something else, I'm going to give you a joke.
Yeah.
I grew up my earlier years in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay.
After my mom took me down there. And, you know, baseball is their thing.
Yes.
So when I came up here, you know, cricket is their thing.
Yes.
So when I came up and I tried to play cricket with the other guys, I held the baseball stance. And everybody went, I wondered why everybody was on the ground rolling, laughing, you understand?
Okay.
Until I found out you had to put the bat on the ground.
Well, nowadays, you know, with the T20, there are guys who are holding the bat, you know, up.
Oh, I
because
didn't know
yeah,
that.
they're holding it up now because it's easier to, you know, to get into the stride for the stroke and those big hits. So they're
There's
adding.
been an evolution.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The slide in terms of picking up the ball and
Yeah,
throwing.
yeah.
There are different things that have becoming part of the game, and more science, more.
But you know what the baseballers are amazed about? That we catch the ball with our bare hands.
You're right, and one of the plays last night was a barehander, and you know they went wild because he barehanded it, you know, right? So there are things like that. I like both sports because you know they teach you things. For instance, in cricket, we talk about technique and so on, but they talk about mechanics and adjustments.
Yeah.
And therefore, if you could see some of what they do, and bring it to your game,
yes,
you will be better for it. And,
most definitely.
The only reason I mention baseball is because you know my wife's brother is in New York, and he's a Yankees fan.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, last year the Yankees went to the World Series, and the Dodgers beat them. The Dodgers are trying to do a second time around. Mm-hmm. And I always tease him, and I'm teasing him and telling him, you have to play in September, October, and November. So the fact that the game didn't finish yesterday, the World Series didn't finish yesterday, which was Halloween and October, all I typed him was 3 words: September, October, and November, because you have to win tonight in November
Yes.
in order to be the champion. So November is here.
Okay.
And on November 1st, my good cousin Lindsey Grant, today is his birthday. And to those Antiguans who are listening, happy Independence Day as well, on November 1st. So I just want to send that out to those, and happy birthday to my good cousin Lindsey. And hope that you have a good one. Today is a milestone for you. And I hope that you enjoy your day. What other matters are in the news? I would just like to say a lot about the speed limits. Speed limits. I mean, if you live anywhere in the rural areas of St. Kitts, you have to put up with the 20 miles an hour colonial days, donkey cart and horse cart, boop boop. Those of you who even know what a boop boop is, boop boop speed limit. For those of you too young to know what's a boop boop, that's a tractor that used to pull the cranes around the islands at the beginning and the end of the harvest season. And, it made a specific sound, when it is pulling the cranes. It went boop, 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 boop. And therefore, it went very slow. Slowly, very slow. And therefore, the speed limits today have not changed since those days. And we are basically saying, in those days when you could gear up to 20, today you can't even get your vehicle changed from first gear without going beyond 20 miles an hour. Okay. And therefore, something has to be done about the speed limits. And I'm hearing people talking about discretion. There is no such thing when it comes to speed limit. Traffic laws are strict liability laws. Let me say that. Take that from me. Traffic laws are strict liability laws. You can't say my intention was, because there is no mens rea. There is nothing to do with the mental aspect of it. You did the act and you commit the offense. You did the act and you commit the offense. They are strict liability. I mean, there is something called absolute liability, but I'm not going to get into those technical terms. But traffic laws predominantly are strict liability laws. You don't need to prove the mental aspect. Oh, my intention was not to speed. It was just to, let's say, overtake this person. Or my intention was I had to reach to the hospital. No, it is strict. You go beyond the speed limit, you have committed the offense. They are strict liability laws. The policemen choose to say, well, I am not going to charge you. But that's their discretion, whether to charge or not to charge. The offense has been committed. Whether to prosecute or not to prosecute is up to the Crown, the DPP's office, or whoever is prosecuting. But the offense has been committed because there are strict liability laws. You go over 20 miles, you have offended the law. And therefore, I don't want to hear nobody on the radio about they have a discretion. Lie. Them are lie. Let me put it in the colloquial thing. They lie. Okay? It is strict. And therefore, when the magistrate told me the other day in court, Chesley, nobody drive at 20 miles an hour, I have to respect her. Even though the accident I was talking about happened in Bastia, and the person said on oath that they were doing 60 miles an hour. You understand? The magistrate looked at me and said, Chesley, nobody drives at 20 miles an hour. She said, not even a funeral go at 20 miles an hour. So something has to be done.
So are you hearing any talk of entertaining change? And if so, why didn't they entertain that before?
They're not entertaining it because the cameras are they are a tax grab through the back door.
Okay.
You didn't come.
Well, I didn't say that, okay?
Chesley saying that it's a tax through the back door. No one came last budget and said we are going to increase revenues because we are going to we are going to introduce cameras in specific areas, and therefore we are warning you that in this budget we intend to raise X amount of money by photo radar cameras. They are doing that. They said they were going to review. And they're going to set up committees to know how to deal with the traffic laws and this and that. I see no such thing. And I'm saying to talk about you moving around cameras for the element of surprise. That ain't have to do with safety. The element of surprise have nothing to do with safety. You want to talk about safety? You put up big signs that say this is a speed trap zone. Photo cameras ahead, and therefore people govern the behavior accordingly. That is how you do it. In fact, in Ontario, the Premier of Ontario just tabled legislation, with I think would come in on the 14th of November, to disband all photo speed radar cameras in the province of Ontario. Because he is saying that the municipalities that are setting up these cameras are raising taxes through the back door. It's a tax grab. And he's saying that is a tax grab on the people's back, and he is abandoning all photo radar speed cameras in the province of Ontario. I know we like to talk about best practices, and this is things done in the Commonwealth jurisdiction. Well, that's something being done in the Commonwealth jurisdiction of Canada and Ontario. Why don't we adopt that one? All right, and I'm going to say this to land the plane. The speed limit in St. Martin, and which is a Dutch overseas territory, so to speak. I'm using which was, and France overseas extension territory. They call them the extension of municipal France and so on, because they don't want to treat them in law the same way as the British deal with its overseas territories. But in St. Martin, the speed limit is higher than 20 miles an hour. In Guadeloupe, the same thing. In Haiti, the same thing. In most of these places that were former colonies, the speed limit is way higher. And I use St. Martin because St. Martin is smaller than us. St. Martin is smaller than us. It has more traffic than us. And the speed limit is higher. What are you saying? They're not dealing with safety? Huh? I am showing you that 20 miles an hour is unreasonable. It might be reasonable to a school zone. You know, you say school zone ahead, 40 kilometers or whatever you want to go to during that area. Not even 20 miles. I'm just saying 40 kilometers in a school zone with warning ahead. Proceed slowly. That is understandable. And you know why it's understandable? Because at 11 o'clock at night, school is in. But if the speed limit say 20 miles an hour, whether it's midnight or 8 o'clock when children go into school, that's the speed limit. So when you say it's a school zone, you're going to proceed at caution. But the speed limit is the speed limit is the speed limit. And I am simply saying 20 miles an hour is unreasonable. And don't tell me nothing more. You got a discretion at 10 kilometers or 10 miles. There is no such thing. Move the speed limit to 30. Move it to 40. Move it to whatever. Move it to 50. Move it where it needs to go. And therefore, when I'm over it, it is strict. I have exceeded the speed limit. I could pay a ticket at the minimum. When I go higher, over 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, I could pay a little bit more. You're taxing me accordingly. Because I am over, I'm doing excessive speed in a certain area. If I'm over 10 miles in a 40 zone doing 50, you are doing that. That is the ticket. Don't come tell me any stupidness, but you have a discretion. So, okay, fine. I understand this might be a partnership between the government and a private entity. So when the private entity catches their own vehicle doing the speed limit, they're handing over those to the government, or they have a discretion. When the government catch ministers, in fact, in Ontario, 20 ministers of the provincial government were caught speeding. All right? So the municipality said, oh, it's because the premier ministers were caught. The premier said, well, we got the power to vote it out, and we're voting it out. So you can jump up and say, well, our government vehicles will have to justify why they were. No, everybody. I like universality. I like universality. I don't like arbitrary and favoritism and these kind of things. I love universality. When you have these kind of a so-called discretion and government vehicles and this and that, it comes down to favoritism, bias, and prejudice. You get a ticket, you see you are going so much over the speed limit, you know what the tariff is. You know what the tariff is. 10 over, you do the minimum. 15 over, it goes up. 20 over, it goes up. If you double the speed limit, you know that you might even lose your driver's license. You understand? I am just showing you because that become not just careless driving now, that become almost reckless. Why are you doing twice the speed limit?
Let's take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean. Keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
People make the world go
You're in tune to Win FM 98.9. The time 18 minutes moving away from the 10 o'clock hour, and we take it right back to Mr. Chesley Hamilton.
Yes, I know I'm talking about the speed limits and so on. There were a couple of other things that were on my mind. You know, St. Vincent has announced that they'll be having elections this month. We had some weather, some adverse weather in terms of rainfall. No hurricane, no nothing like that. But when we're talking about sustainability and we're talking about island state and resilience, the fact that I was out of water, water and electricity for a day and out of water for like 4 days, these things bother me. These things are concerns. Especially I have to repair my own road when the when the water flood down the road and turn it into a trench/river.
Speaking of electricity, that has been a bit of a bother for us because, we recently installed a new transmitter.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because of the certain fluctuations and so forth, when the current goes off, it doesn't just come back on.
Yeah.
You have to go and trigger it back on.
Okay.
If the current in around the island was more consistent and we didn't have current going off and on every minute, our transmitter at Utley's level would be on consistently. But it is on and it is on for maybe 3 days, 4 or 5 days, then current in the area goes off, and access to up there is a problem. So we're implementing certain things over time, but to back up what you're saying, if electricity was a consistent thing as it should be in a modern era and a modern society, we wouldn't have that problem. You should be having your transmitter on for months on end before electricity goes off.
I have a proposal for you. Where I am at Godwin, I have lined the site to Utley's, and I have lined the site to Brimstone Hill. So, I might be able to come with an arrangement for you to put your transmitter, closer
But
to me.
I don't know. Wait. I don't know exactly. I'm not too au fait with all of the.
I'm teasing you. I am teasing
No,
you.
let me. with all of the geographic areas, so I don't know if from your area we'll be able to feed Bastia.
No, you won't be able
So
because
then
you won't be unless you bounce it by a microwave back to Nevis and then back to Bastia.
So that's the
Because I have
problem.
line of sight to Nevis and I have line of sight to Station.
So that's the problem because
Yes.
we where we are,
Yeah.
we have a better
Yes.
vantage point all around. It's
All
just
around to Utley's level, yes.
Yeah,
Utley's level provide this basin.
Yeah, but
very
it's
well.
hard to get up there though.
Yes.
The,
I know.
The other stations that are up there, they have transmitters that when the current goes and it comes back on, they automatically come back on.
Yes.
But this is a transmitter that has certain modern features. It's very, very sensitive and so forth. So, but in the long run, we're going to get it worked out. But it's kind of annoying when the current goes off and we have to be going up there to put it back on.
I understand. I mean, these are the developmental and growing pains.
Yeah.
With technology and I use it. Technology, technical know-how. They're going to be these things. You remember when you turn on your internet, it used to be buffing?
Yeah.
It used to be buffing. And you see going around and around and around.
Yes.
When you dial up modem, you go, zing, 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 right? We pass those things.
Yeah, we are
But
progressing
We are
gradually.
progressing.
Yeah.
And we're getting a little better. And it's growing pains. And we're going to get there. And the good thing about it that in this federation, we're talking about sustainability. I can't wait for the entire country to have Wi-Fi access. I was reading something recently where Rogers, they're the sponsors of the Sky Dome in Toronto. They now it's called the Rogers Stadium, and because Rogers is a technology company, which now own the Blue Jays, but they have satellites themselves now, and without any connectivity to any service provider, no matter where you are in Canada, you can make one of those emergency calls just by using their satellite.
Okay.
So you're out in the wilderness and in those they're providing this service throughout Canada in all the dead zones and
That's
so on.
good because sometimes people go hiking and they wind up with a problem and
They
it's
are
hard to
providing
find
that.
it.
Just imagine if saying it's through the cable or through something like that. We now have dead zone. I mean, all the dead zones are covered by Wi-Fi for such calls. I mean, that is when you're talking about sustainable development and so on. Those are things that we need to borrow from other countries, and I use that because sometimes we only want to bring home and borrow things that are punitive. You know, the best practices we want to implement are those that are punitive, those that help and bring some universality to opportunity. We are hesitant to bring them to our society, and I would always keep speaking about those things. There is a little issue with some of the things that are happening at the prison, which I think I would have liked to touch as well, but I might leave that for another day in terms of what is happening there. It's a topic that I would address down the road at some time. Things are happening at the prison that needs urgent attention. I know the gentlemen and ladies that work there are understaffed. They need resources. They need help. But, you know, at the end of the day, just like when you're talking about children, it's the best interest of the children. When you're talking about the prison, yes, the workers need to be able to be safe and be able to have the resources to do their work. But when we're talking about the prison, the inmates and their welfare got to also be the primary concern. And therefore, there are things that are needed and are lacking, even in terms of when we need to visit and where we can visit. We're not visiting in the necessary conditions that we need to visit to speak to our clients privately. We're being served things on disk and computers and so on, and we don't have anywhere where we can go and speak with our clients properly to get proper instructions. In the same way that when the DPP is speaking with their witnesses and their officers in preparation, they have office, they have technology, they have tools, but when we need to prepare, we have no such thing, whether in St. Kitts or in Nevis, to proper prepare for court in the way that the Constitution says we should be prepared. So I did not attend the budgetary consultation, but I know a budget is coming in December, and this is the time now to put monies in the budget to address some of these issues. I know the ministry might be challenged when it comes to courtrooms and rentals and all sorts of other things in terms of technology, but so there's nobody really to speak for the prison and the prisoners, because they are the worst of the worst, so to speak. But so therefore, it might be incumbent upon me to echo something and say, listen, these places, you need to come to them rather than they come to you. So sometimes you need to go to them and have a consultation rather than thinking that they're going to come to you. Because the prison officers going to come with what they need, you know. But who going to represent the cries of the prisoners when they have something that need addressed? And I know there's some people out there going to say, well, they're in jail, they ain't entitled to nothing. They are innocent people in jail because they are on remand. And therefore, you are innocent until proven otherwise. So the same rights that you have are the same rights that those people on remand, they possess vis-a-vis the Constitution. So therefore, we have to be careful about people's rights, fundamental human rights. The rights that we enjoy are the rights that are bestowed upon those people. When they're found guilty, it becomes a different thing. They have to bear the punishment. You did the crime, you must do the time, etc., etc., etc. I am basically simply saying we need to make sure that due process of law is not just there and what's written in the book. A procedural error is a fundamental error, is a substantive error, and therefore when we deny people their rights, cases can be lost just based on that. I listen to judges and other people talk about, it's a technicality. There's no such thing about technicality. We are not technicians. We don't practice technicality. We are lawyers. We practice the law. And when somebody brings something to court that is based in the law, they're not getting somebody off on a technicality. They're getting them off based on the edicts of the law. And I just want to put that out there as well. We are lawyers. We have respect for the law. We have to adhere to the law, the judges and the magistrate. Nobody come tell me no stupidness about, oh, that's a technicality.
Well,
You know?
I guess the what is it? The prosecution tends to say that often to save face, you know, to say, well, you know, we almost had him, you know, but he came with a bit of a technicality there. So.
No. You could say that once ago when people couldn't read and they wouldn't understand that a man shoot a man and he get off, so you can justify it to the person who doesn't understand. So it's a technicality, you know. I can't explain it to you. It's a technicality, but we have a literate population. We don't need to go and try to soothe things over by telling them about it's a technicality. When other people bring up legal points, you call them legal luminaries and true geniuses and everything like that. When people use the law to vindicate somebody, say it was a legal point accepted by the judge, and therefore the person was found not guilty on the law. That's all we ask. You know, not about a technicality. We're not technicians. So I want us to make sure that the law is adhered to, the process and procedure is adhered to, and let the facts fall where they may. You see? Because at the end of the day, you know, the judges weren't there when the thing happened. The lawyers, we weren't there. So we can't determine what happened. What happened is between God Almighty and the perpetrator and the victim. They know because they were there. Because God is omnipresent and omnipotent. But I'm simply saying, when it comes to the practice of law, the law is the law, the facts are the facts, but the due process of the procedures, etc., must be adhered to in order for us to come to this term called justice. And sometimes we don't get it right. That is why there are courts of appeal. And if they don't get it right, we then go to, like, the Privy Council or Court of Last Resort. Whether they get it right or wrong, they got a right to be wrong. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Okay, well, let's take a commercial break.
Certainly.
And when we come back, I want you to inform the people of when you feel comfortable to open the lines.
Certainly.
Okay, so.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
People make the world go
And we're back. The time 10:33. Right back to you, Mr. Hamilton.
Wonderful. I probably have said a lot in a half an hour, but let me just add this last area that is in the news, the SSZ, specialized zone. And, you know, without going into the specifics of the legislature, I want to put that topic in a certain context. I want to put it in a context that people will understand what I am seeing when I speak about the SSC. A lot of people don't understand the St. Kitts Nevis reality as is enshrined in the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis. You understand? The Constitution.
How many pages is that? I've never read through it.
Not many. 103, 119 pages, 120 pages also.
Okay.
And that includes the schedules and the aspects of dealing with Nevis and the fundamental clauses, the different chapters. For instance, chapter to deal with fundamental rights and freedoms, and it goes through a number of things. There is a certain balance in the document that when you're reading it, you know, people talk about equal rights and justice and equal rights and freedoms and the Constitution. To read the Constitution and do not understand what I'm going to tell you, you're going to miss the balance of power. The balance of power struck in the Constitution can be surmised in this phrase. It's the protection of the minority from the tyranny of the majority. Let me say it again. Is the protection of the minority from the tyranny of the majority. And how do you apply that phrase? The majority population in St. Kitts would dominate everything if you just had the two islands in a federation.
Yeah, most definitely.
So to protect the minority population from that tyranny, there is an enclave carved out for the island of Nevis by giving it its own island assembly and certain exclusive rights within the federation.
Yes.
So, and they are protected. They are almost sovereign in that protection.
Yes.
So that the population of St. Kitts and the majority in St. Kitts can travel on every aspect of Nevis' life and livelihood. Once you understand that, that is the balance struck. And it's not struck in an equal way. It's at 1/3 protection. It's a 1/3 protection. So many of the things that St. Kitts would have to override needs a 2/3 majority. But the smart and the wisdom in it is that there are 8 federal seats in St. Kitts and 3 in Nevis. Now you realize that ain't exactly 1/3.
Yes.
But the Constitution says, should you want to change that 8-3, Nevis is entitled to 1/3. So even without it, they kind of have a veto.
Yes.
So if you're going to 12 seats, Nevis must have 4. So in order to increase the number of seats from 8 in St. Kitts, you can't even go to 9 because Nevis wouldn't have 1/3. 3 and 9 is 12. You will have to go to 10 in St. Kitts and 5 in Nevis. 5 to give Nevis the 3rd. That's the protection of that 1/3 minority within the polity, within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. That 1/3 protection. That is why in everything there need to be a 2/3 majority. You're going to change the Constitution, you need to have a referendum in Nevis and a referendum in St. Kitts. And you must get a 2/3 majority in each one. That 2/3 balance. That is it. So Nevis has almost what you call, like, I don't want to call them minority rights. I want to call them fundamental right protection.
Yes, that's a better phrasing.
Fundamental right protection in the Constitution. And why I calling it that is this. In general, and specifically in section 2, in chapter 2 of the Constitution, you have a lot of individual rights and freedoms, where the individual is protected from the state, the general. You know, you have the right to religion. I, as an individual, have a fundamental right to freedom of religion. It's a protection from the majority to impose a religion on me. Freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, you know, right to property, freedom of conscience, freedom to assemble, you know, the fundamental rights and freedoms, freedom of speech. Those fundamental rights are given to me, the individual, and they are protection from the majority, the community at large. So they have struck that balance between the individual and the collective. It's a similar thing. It's a balance within a democracy between the individual rights and the collective rights. So Nevis has almost like this individual right protection within the of our Constitution.
Yes.
I'm bringing it home. I'm going to land the plane just now.
Yeah, because I'm kind of, I want you to link it to
I'm going to land the plane.
SSV.
I'm going to land the plane just now. So just imagine Nevis has that individual protection. And then you're going to create an SSV in Nevis to give a society even more privilege and protected rights. That is the danger for me.
I see the danger.
Okay? For instance, if I, Hamilton, have fundamental rights and freedoms and the protection of that here in St. Kitts, I'm going to go in Parliament to give me a statute to even protect me for. Boy, I'm almost becoming godlike.
Yeah.
That is what you have done for me.
But you know, I never saw it from that perspective until you brought it. And that makes it even more serious.
You know, I have a little property around the square. And you go in to say, because I am the only person other than TDC that has this property within that block, that I am the protector of the square. You're giving me the rights to the square. That is basically you're giving me the enclave of the square now. Yeah. So when you're coming in the square, you say, listen to me, you walk in the square, you put trust of money in the fountain. And the money in the fountain belongs to Chesley and Chesley only. You go because I am in legislation now the protector of the square. That is what you have just gone to do with the enclave. You have just say they're subjected to taxes, they're subjected to the same customs. They're not subjected to this. They are exempted from that. Just give me the same for the square, no?
But let me ask you this, Chesley, because I'm glad you brought that perspective, which I admit I didn't see it from that faction.
I have to take it down to a level that every Jan door can understand.
Yes. Having said that, right, why is it, I tend to say, and others have said that the presentation of this SS whatever is rather vague. Explain to me, why is it that they say this is not going to be a sovereign place, but yet still they emphasize at every aspect as much as they could the word special. Tell me, what is your understanding?
And that is the problem with the special for me.
Yes. It is my problem.
I believe in universality. Let me say it again. Chesley, O'Neill, Barker, Lico, Hamilton, Grant believes in universality. I believe in universality, universal rights and freedom, You and I have the same universal right to breathe the air and the oxygen and the fresh water and the sea and so forth. I believe in universality. I don't believe in special privileges and benefits. Let me say it again. I do not believe in special benefits and privileges. And therefore, when you're going to give somebody a special zone, you create. That's my conclusion.
That's it.
That's my Charlie O'Neill, Lico Hamilton Grant perspective, that you are creating apartheid.
Because when there was the most recent press conference, a developer, a potential developer, from what he was, from how he expressed himself, it seems to me he already has investment in Nevis and seeks more, in this special area. But it seems to me that he has been handicapped for whatever reason. And his question was asking why you want to have this, why there should be no special nothing, because he said, he used the example of Four Seasons, and he said, Four Seasons has these and Four Seasons has that. Why couldn't you apply this in this area as opposed to going to this special thing?
Four Seasons own Four Seasons? Yes. Okay, I'm going to answer the question. I ain't going to even wait for the answer. Right? Yes. So, if you're going and pass legislation for a special development zone, right? Do they own the area? Now, you know that a company is an individual in law.
Yes.
So, if 98.9 is a company, and I could have a relationship or a business or a contract with 98.9.
Yes.
Because 98.9 is a company. Does that individual 98.9 has a religion? Do they have a religion? Do they have freedom of expression? Do they have freedom of conscience?
Most likely.
They are an individual. These rights need to be protected.
Yes.
Suppose the specialized zone say Wednesday is their religious day, is their Sabbath.
Yes.
And therefore you can't drive in a vehicle in the specialized zone on a Wednesday. Is there anything to stop them from doing that? It is their religion.
Yes.
We do not know if the people in the specialized zone will be predominantly Muslim. We don't know if it's predominantly Hindu. We don't know if it will be predominantly Jewish. We do not know who they would be predominantly. And therefore, if they are a specialized zone and they have protection of religion, what if the woman coming over there must wear they had, they must cover their heads and must respect certain things? You do not know. I don't like special zones. Give me universality. The universality that I enjoy in the Constitution. That you have the right to be Rastafari, I have the right to be Hindu, and somebody else have the right to be Jew, and we all can serve our God in the way we so choose.
Yes, yes.
Suppose people out of the specialized zone decide, well, we are nudists.
I brought that up at one point.
You got to come out. You can't come over here in no clothes. Would that abuse our obscenity laws?
Most definitely.
And people might say, but Chesley, you go to the extreme. Sometimes, unless you can see the margins, you don't see the center.
Yeah, but
you need to be able to know what are the extremes.
But this is not so much it could happen.
That is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Do you know the extent to what you are getting yourself into in doing this? So therefore, you're critiquing and you're criticizing the solution. You want a solution? I'll give you an option. Make the whole of Nevis a specialized zone. The whole of Nevis. When St. Martin is tax-free or duty-free, when if St. Martin is duty-free, it's duty-free for everybody,
Yeah.
St. Martin is duty-free for everybody. So Nevis is duty-free for everybody.
Give it special incentives.
But then who can do that? Because
Ah,
because remember you said
but-
that Nevis
but-
has certain autonomy.
But again, listen to me. Listen to me. You make Nevis a special within the federation. If we move the quarters to Nevis, let it do so. Because when they bring their things down to St. Kitts, they're going to pay taxes in St. Kitts. If Hashfords want to do the same thing, if I want to go and incorporate with Nevis, I'm going to incorporate in Nevis. I'm going to pay. I'm going to employ people in Nevis. I'm going to do things. But so everybody in Nevis. So what's wrong with me, the ordinary man in Nevis? What me can't get a special privilege too?
But hear this now, Mr. Chesley Hamilton. The people in St. Kitts are gonna be crying foul soon.
Well, that's okay.
And they're gonna want their special.
I love being a division, you know. I told my friend Owen Martin some 24 years ago, because we were in Trinidad, that if I had the choice, I would choose to be a division. Because the only thing I would want out of the Constitution is something called a notwithstanding clause.
And explain
And
that.
I like you as a journalist, you know. What notwithstanding clause? The notwithstanding clause would say, notwithstanding the federal government right to legislate in this way, it will have a detrimental effect on the island of Nevis, so we exempt ourselves out. It's a temporary for 3 years. It can be renewed once. You see the genius of it? Why it can be renewed once? Because once you renew it, it's going to 6 years. You must have an election in between. So the people have to say whether they want you to continue exempting it or not. You understand? So the federal something pass photo camera legislation. The Nevis Island administration said that is not in the best interest of Nevisians. So we exempt ourselves from it for 3 years. If they go and renew it, they must face the polls before the new government in a new administration can renew it. That's all I would want. Is a notwithstanding clause within the Constitution to say, notwithstanding the federal government right to legislate in that area, it will have a detrimental effect on the island of Nevis, and we exempt ourselves. That's all. And I will love to be a Nevisian. I will do nothing else. I will have my cake and eat it in the federation. So to come back to your point when I made that a little zigzag, my thing is this. Kittitians gonna cry foul? Why they have to cry foul? I have the same passport as a division.
Yeah, but you know, here's my explanation. I've often heard people say that which I feel is a foolish argument. I've heard a lot of Kittitians say that Nevis has everything and we don't have nothing because Nevis has
A government.
And we don't have a government and blah blah blah.
And every time they ask that question, ask them this one question back.
Yes.
Are you willing to pay more taxes to have a local government? Just ask them that.
Well, you and I discussed before.
Are you willing to pay more taxes to have a local government? So the fact,
Okay.
who going to pay me a salary? Who going to pay the premier salary? Who is going to pay the cabinet? Who going to pay the civil servants? Who? You with the small tax base? Just ask them that one question.
Yeah.
People talk about this island administration and they want their own.
Yes.
Ask them one question. You want a saying it's local government? Are you willing to pay more taxes to have it? Just ask them that. And I know all of them going to say, not me.
Well,
So it's a non-argument.
it's a non-argument.
It's a non-argument. They want to pay more taxes to have a safe government, but it sounds good on paper.
To say,
It sounds good on paper.
Yeah.
It sounds good on paper. Going to hurt me pay in my pocket, and I have keep in my pocket. I'm willing to pay more. You understand? And I believe that the balance stroke, the genius of the balance stroke in this entity called St. Kitts and Nevis, with the protection of the minority population from the tyranny of the majority population,
And
it was a strong genius.
And wait there. You see, again, you see that minority-majority thing? That, again, is of relevance because when you're going to argue that you don't have your own government, but you are the majority. So you're forgetting that.
Forgetting that. Forgetting that. You could get anything you want because you're the majority in the
That's
relationship.
it. You understand?
You understand? And I'm basically, I constitutionality, St. Kitts Nevis 101.
Yes.
Because I don't think that no one takes the time to teach the Constitution. We don't teach the American Constitution. We'll teach that the British ain't got no Constitution. We teach the Constitution except us.
Yes.
Right? But take this little piece here, and you could put it up on winnfm site as St. Kitts Nevis Constitution 101. Okay?
Yeah.
Put it up there, St. Kitts Nevis Constitution lesson 101.
Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and when you come back, remember I told you need to let the people know when you
And
come
we
back.
can let them in when we come back right away.
Okay, cool. Because there's a particular individual who wants to ask you a constitutional question.
Certainly.
Okay.
Found the sound 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
People make the world go
And we are back. The time is 4 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour, and it's right back at you, Mr. Chesley Hamilton.
Yes, we will entertain any phone calls that can come. Like I said, give me dominion over the square, and I will turn it into a special zone. You know, they say that it need to be a certain size, but I'm not asking for too much. I just want, you know, the couple of acres around in the middle of Bastia called Independence Square.
Okay.
And I will make that a special zone, and I know the kind of revenue I will be able to raise
make from that.
in terms of.
Well, the phone lines are already.
Yes, let's go.
So let's go. Hello, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes. Let me start with your most recent comment about would you pay for the additional administrative cost?
Yes.
And I don't think the answer is what you might expect, you know.
Go ahead.
I suspect that a lot of people would say instead, in place of strife, which we have on an episodial basis, but we still have it, I would like there to be a government of St. Kitts and a government of Nevis.
That's fine.
Okay? So I don't think, no, but you made it sound as if, well, nobody want to pay the additional for having a, duplication essentially of all the administrative things in both islands.
You know, remember you're dealing with pensions and all of those kind of things, eh? Police, administration, pension, politician pensions.
Isn't there duplication now? You got a Minister of Education in Nevis, you got one in St. Kitts, you got a Minister of Health in St. Kitts, and one in Nevis.
But the
There's
federal
duplication right
government,
now.
the federal government in St. Kitts is paying for certain things, and the Nevis Island administration is paying for certain things. I just simply saying, if the Kittitian majority population wants to pay for island administration government as well, then let them vote for it.
And
No,
also,
no.
Mr. McMahon, let them be prepared to pay the taxes to finance such. Now, I understand Mr. Chesley and both Mr. Chesley and Mr. McMahon. I know from the political leaders' aspect, they would not mind having all of those factions, because they don't seem to think about the long run. They think about what they can get in their pockets. But the question is, are the people ready to take on that burden of added taxes?
And such a small labor force.
But what I'm saying is, they already duplicate stuff,
I agree.
don't they?
I agree with you.
So you're saying, Mr. McMahon, as Mr. Chesley Hamilton just explained to you, Nevis is paying for certain aspects and we're paying for certain aspects. So you're saying that because there's some of that replicated here, you don't have a problem with making sure that every aspect down here
Is
goes in
duplicated.
that vein. You understand the financial repercussions of that?
That leads that for me leads to more stability in the
Okay.
current arrangement, right? That would be my point. But
But
Chesley,
your
I would-
point,
I would-
Mr. McMahon, exempts the added financial burden to the population. So you're callous in regards to that? That is of no
it would be
significance
good,
to you?
It would be good if some kind of forensics done on this. Exactly what cost? Because I am sure you'd find out that the cost would be minimal.
No, it cannot be. Even with simple mathematics. Mr. Chesley, start name out some of the factions that will have to be replicated down here.
But the minute that you decide to have a St. Kitts Island administration, you will start to have a local police force, and in St. Kitts, an island force in St. Kitts, and an island force in Nevis. Then you'll have a federal, if you want to have a federal police who deal with cross-border investigation, like the FBI, you must begin to why am I going to need three police forces?
So tell me something. To use your example, is the police force in Nevis, assigned to Nevis, adequately staffed?
No, because the federal government is paying for it.
St. Kitts, adequately staffed?
The
So
federal
what is
government
the
is paying for it. But
Yes,
once you
of
begin to
course.
give
And-
the
and-
island of
and-
Nevis, the island of St. Kitts, no, listen to this. Once you begin to give the island of St. Kitts jurisdiction, exclusive jurisdiction, you then begin to say that the federal government can do certain things just so.
As it is right now.
Ah, that's the point.
I'm saying. Right?
Washi used to use a
that
phrase.
We have not.
He
we have
used to
not-
use a phrase, sui generis, mean that we, and Kurt sang the song, we are unique. It is a unique relationship. People say, oh, it's not a true federation. Because yes,
Which is true.
it is
Yeah.
unique. And I believe
Okay.
it's a stroke of genius. Me ain't willing to throw it away because it's
Well, you
unique.
see, well,
I am
will
not willing to
suggest
throw it because it's unique. I believe it's a stroke of genius created by powerful minds within St. Kitts and Nevis. Just like a Nevision left Nevis in the name of Alexander Hamilton and gave the U.S. government 52 of the federal papers that form the United States Constitution. I believe that the Limos, the Billy Herberts, and the Consis and Tapley Seatons and them came up with a unique political creature called the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis that is serving us well.
And I would suggest to you that you're wrong both in terms of the genesis of that document, which I feel was more politics than anything else.
All right.
Secondly, it contradicts your basic tenet that I totally agreed with you on, because as I told the Prime Minister, the first red flag for me in that SSG legislation was where it was the word special. The people feel that it's trivial.
Yeah, a lot of people feel
special. Okay? Right?
But I'm going to use a different
and I
word
could add
when you
to
finish.
that.
But
I
go
could add
ahead.
to that.
Go ahead.
I can add to that. Unique, different, all those words. He used the word overarching. You can use all those words, all those euphemisms. But in the final analysis,
You see, unique for me is used in the context of the entire country. Special is used in the specific when you're talking about it. And that is why I don't agree with you in terms of associating special and unique in the same way. But go ahead, continue.
yeah, well, okay. But the essence of democracy, I think, right, is one man, one vote.
All right.
And majority rule generally. Okay. So you may say that it's protection of the minority from the tyranny of the majority.
Yep.
But like in so many other efforts to do that, you can take, for instance, affirmative action. It is discriminatory.
I like how you're thinking, but go ahead. I don't want to let you finish.
Yeah,
Land the plane.
I can understand it. I would even support it based on the history, okay? But there will always be a problem of, well, when has restorative or reparative justice been done, okay? And in the meantime, some people are being discriminated against.
But
You mentioned some.
No, let him finish. Let him finish.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You mentioned, for instance, why there's a visceral reaction of a lot of Kittians to what appears to be the excessive influence of Nevis over things in St. Kitts. Like, for instance, you mentioned the one-third thing. And also the fact that divisions can influence what government we have in St. Kitts. And they've done that before, right? Whereas the reverse is not true.
Okay.
Right? And so when you have those kind of idiosyncrasies and so on, what do you do? To me, you fall back to first principles, the first principles of democracy, right? It isn't everything. It would be nice if all kinds of peculiarities and so on are taken into account, right? But in real life, that is not what happens.
I'm going to monkey wrench in everything you just said.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
And when you talk, for instance, about protecting the minorities from the tyranny of the majority, you've forgotten that apartheid existed, where you had the minority, because of much more wealth and military power, were able to subjugate the majority. So it's not a natural state. Yes, like I said, it's nice if the minority is positions and so on are taken into account, but it is not a natural state. Okay, right? How else?
Unbridled. Let me answer you. Unbridled democracy is nothing but legislative dictatorship.
It is.
Okay? unbridled democracy is nothing but legislative dictatorship.
And let me use affirmative action as a part of explaining that, because the very same way that they said affirmative action is discriminatory, they use it for white women and white men. White women and white men to this day still benefit from affirmative action, but when blacks do it, they say it is discriminatory.
But I believe not in, and you're gonna laugh when I tell you this. I don't believe in equality in the sense that you think that everybody have one vote, the guarantee of one person, one vote, you know. Because the only day all are equal is on election day.
That's
After
true.
election day,
That's true.
you're not as
Well,
powerful.
of course.
So what you are forgetting is the power dynamic.
Yeah, the legislative
Where
dictatorship.
power lies.
I wasn't forgetting it. I was
No.
pointing to you.
Because when you flip it and talk about apartheid, you're talking about the minority having more power than the majority.
Right.
And that is why I tell you it's legislative democracy. Dictatorship.
Yes.
You cannot have a power imbalance. That is why I use the word is the protection of the minority from the tyranny of the majority.
But what I'm saying is,
It's a protection.
in trying to do that, you can't go overboard.
You can't go overboard if you have an independent judiciary.
What?
An independent judiciary. And that is
Is
why.
such a thing?
No, listen to me. Because I have the answer.
No,
Listen to me.
You have the right premise.
You cannot
Have the right
then
premise.
have a judiciary which is part of the executive.
That is a problem.
You have
Where in
you
St.
started
Kitts,
wrong
the magistracy,
precisely.
listen to me, the magistracy is part of the executive. So the attorney general could tell the magistrate, I am not giving you no paper. I am not giving you no toilet paper. I am not giving you no paper towel. I am not giving you no bulb for your office. In fact, I'm going to give you just a desk and a chair and no telephone. Because you're not doing the things that I want you to do. That can't be right.
Of course it can't be
The
right.
judiciary
That is-
needs its own independent budget so that it can be free in its tenure to do justice.
But Mr. Chesley Hamilton, part of what Mr. McMahon is saying is kind of right, though, because
Let me hear you.
here's the part. I agree with what you're saying, but what we often see is that this faction that you say should be independent, they still tend to lean. There are still individuals who tend to lean towards the governmental structure.
You're right, but that is why.
That's why
That's why you have.
That's what I was trying to
But
tell
that
you.
is why you
That's the
have.
premise.
But that is why you
That's what I was
have
trying to
justice
tell
at
you.
first
Just-
instance.
Yeah.
You have appeal, and then you have appeal of the appeal. In a democracy, let me say this. In a democracy, the only set of people that has the right to be wrong are judges. Because if they get it wrong, finally, you can't correct it. But give me a better system.
But
You give me a better system.
what
At
I was
least you
trying-
got due process. You might not end up with the
Mr.
right
Chesley,
decision at the end of the day.
Chesley, let him
You
speak.
talk
Let
Go ahead.
about a better system. You talk about a better system. How about doing a lot of the people in the judicial process are like in the states are elected rather than
Appointed.
selected or appointed. And what about them being vetted, more seriously vetted than this old boys network that we have in this? In
I agree
places
that you need
of
to
appointment.
begin to deal with
Okay?
those
So
systems.
what
I
was
agree you
trying
need,
to tell
but you have to
is from
start
the
with
beginning,
you have to start
your
with
premise is
disentangling the judiciary from the executive. You have to move the magistrates from under the thumb of the political. That's the first step. The first step is the magistrates got to move from under the attorney general. Give them the independent thing with their budget and tenure. Then you could start to say, hey, you all over there as an equal branch of government or co-equal branch of government. we need we need ethics. We need oversight. We need this, we need that. But you can't have them in the bosom of the political entity and think that you're going to get justice. You said justice is perceived.
And you would think that that is obvious, but it is not. I ain't hearing no impetus to change the thing, to change these
But
things.
I have been saying it all the time.
Well, you may have been saying it all the time, but who else?
I agree. I agree with you. But I'm just saying to you, there are problems within the democracy that we have. For instance, the Westminster system. One of the things that we all would like, we brought home the Westminster system with the executive and the legislature being one and the same. But the quasi-judicial bodies that hold the government to account, we didn't bring them. The accounts committee for Parliament. When was the last time they kept a meeting to hold the budgetary process as transparent? We in St. Kitts and Nevis, we do not have a human rights commission. So you're being discriminated against, and the only thing that is open to you is the same court.
So in other words, what I've seen is that in a democracy, that's why sometimes when I speak, people tend to say, well, you don't believe in democracy. I believe democracy is the best thing that we could utilize. But even within a democracy, there's not democracy.
Right, there are abuses.
Yes.
And it is an effort in perfection. You have to constantly keep perfecting your democracy.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah.
Yes, and I agree with that. I agree with that, right? But honestly, I feel there are some obvious things that people constantly point out that people who can do something about them do not do.
I agree with you.
Like
That's
the
true.
whole thing perpetuates itself. That's what I said.
And the
There's no
thing that
impetus
helps to
change.
perpetuate it is that P word, power. Is the power imbalance that you have to begin to deal with.
And
The more you deal with the element of power, whether the power comes from money or the power comes from votes or whatever it comes from, put a check on the word and that P word. Put a check on power. Bring power into the balance any day, into review, into scrutiny, and you begin to perfect your democracy.
But Mr. Chesley, that is the point that you were making when you said we were selective in what we picked and what we left out.
Yeah.
We picked certain things and left out the things that would have kept you in line.
We did not bring home the quasi-judicial bodies, right?
No,
to have the checks and balances. The bodies, the
nature.
institution that has the checks and balances on the executive and the legislature being one of the same. Because the executive, which is cabinet, has the majority in parliament. So they go and they pass whatever legislation they want without any checks and balances.
Yeah. Mr. McMahon, you were saying something about human
but
nature.
you're not going to get anybody to devolve their power.
So again, I am telling you about your democracy. Democracy needs work.
No. But it's in its purest form. You agreed with me.
In its purest form, it is the tyranny of the elected.
Yeah. But Mr. McMahon, this
the rights, that right of the voters, okay, you can give them. Put it this way. They can hide, if you wish, behind the fact that they are of the majority opinion.
You know what the Bill of Rights is in the United States? The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights was the first set of amendments that says if we allow democracy to flow as pure as we have it, the minority will be crushed. So they brought about this set of amendments to give the protection to the individual. That's what the Bill of Rights is.
Mr. Chesley, I want, because your voice is so much more louder than Mr. McMahon, you tend to override him. I want Mr. McMahon to be able to make his statement.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. McMahon. You were saying.
Yeah, yes, I'm saying, right, if it's a case of which do you consider the better option? If you are going to say minority rights have to be protected,
Have to be.
okay? And most people would agree with that, okay? But it comes down to a choice between minority rights and the opinions of the majority.
Yeah,
Who do you
you're
think
right.
should win out?
You're right.
Who do you think should win out?
The individual. I believe in individual
Individual?
rights because you cannot have any universality if individuals are not protected. If there is collective rights, that the tyranny of the collective, whether that majority is white, whether that majority is male, whether that majority is the person with the most money, the tyranny of the majority, you must put limits on it. Must. Otherwise, it's become tyranny.
Mr. Chester,
But what I'm saying is you're faced with an option of one or the other. Which one would you choose? That's a direct question.
but
Which
why?
one would you choose?
But why, Mr. McMahon, should you choose what is the power structure that
Because
has the power
reality
already?
is, Quinn, because the reality is, Quinn, that in our, and it's human nature as well.
I like the
Okay.
balance, Mr.
That-
McMahon. Balance.
Yeah.
The balance stroke
No,
is not an equality balance.
balance
The,
is
the
always
balance stroke is an equitable one. It's an equitable balance between
balance is
1/3
always
of the
good.
1/3 of the population versus 2/3 of the population. I love it. Chesley love it. Some people might say it's supposed to be an 80-20 split.
1/3 of the population, what?
It's a 1/3 to 2/3 balance. I love it. I am not telling you you have to like it. Some people say it's supposed to be 80-20 or 25-75.
But that has real consequences, and I'm asking, when it comes down to the real consequences, how do you decide?
I believe in individual rights. So
But you
therefore,
can't have one
individual
man.
rights are
You can't have-
fundamental.
you
So
can't-
that is
you
one
cannot
person, you know. An individual is one.
Exactly. You can't have one person deciding on the future of 13,000 people.
Really? But that is
And
democracy.
we always
Really?
complain,
That is
you know, we
democracy.
always complain.
If you got
We always
all I need is
complain.
50 plus 1 in a democracy, and I am the majority, I got all the rights. That is your democracy.
That's fine.
The power of
You
one.
have to have. You have to have some casting vote. But we always complain about the power, the prime minister or premier having too much power, and when it comes down to it, we don't do anything about it. Okay? But before, I'm sure Quinn, you got to take a break and some.
Yes,
and so on.
yes.
But
I'm overdue a break right now.
yeah, but there's two things that I wanted to bring up that Chesley can mull over. One, this idea, and I know we've talked about it before, okay, of no such thing as a technicality. Do you extrapolate that to say there's nothing, to say that you don't believe in something called the spirit of the law and the letter of the law? That's a yes or no question, I guess. Right? And secondly, I know you have contacts in Trinidad that most of us don't have. And you probably have a relationship with the present Prime Minister of Trinidad.
Yeah.
I'm trying hard to understand where she's coming from with her approach to Venezuela and CARICOM. Okay. And I was hoping that you, with your insights, might be able to explain those things.
Wonderful. I will deal with both of those two things. I think we're overdue a break.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay, we have the break, and I'll deal with both of those things. Thanks for your contribution, my brother.
Okay. Let me take that bit of a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, we're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
People make the world go.
And we're back. The time 11:25. And before you start, Mr. Chesley Hamilton, you were speaking about, in a prior discussion, you were speaking about the America's legislation, which was supposed to represent the equality in terms of the minority and individual. But I'm going to say to you that when the American Constitution was written, and a lot of us who are of a Negro persuasion, we have come to that conclusion that it did not envision us or incorporate us, because here you have a legislation that says each man is, has the rights and so, but yet still you had slaves and so.
And they say if you deal with the original text, at the time when that was written, black people, a black man was not a man.
Yeah.
So he could not have envisioned them.
Yeah.
Right? So that will answer his question about the letter of the law and the spirit of the law.
Yes.
Did the spirit of the law includes a black man? You understand? That will answer that question for him. But what I want to say to him is this. There is the spirit of the law and the letter of the law. And that is why I believe in the living tree. The living tree. Things are expanding. Things are analogous. Things are similar. When the law was written, back in 17 whatever, it could not have envisioned the internet. Could not have. But today we are bringing those things into being and into place. So therefore it must be able to evolve. That's the spirit of the law, so to speak, rather than the letter of the law.
Yeah.
And therefore, within 15 years, I think it was, of the U.S. Constitution, they were back bringing in the Bill of Rights. What did the Bill of Rights do? It brought in individual rights and protection. Individual again, the individual, because they realized that the tyranny of the majority white men population needed checks and balances, equitable checks and balances. There were Anglo-Saxons who believe in, whether it's the Catholic Church or the Anglican Church, and then there were the Protestants and those people that needed protection religiously. You needed religious protection. You needed other protections. There are even 2 amendments in the U.S. Constitution, one banning liquor and one legalizing it. You understand? Alcohol. Because certain people believe that alcohol was this big sin and it shouldn't be, because, and Indians weren't supposed to drink alcohol and la 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 la. So there was banning alcohol and then there was liberalizing it. I'm just showing you how they evolve. But the universality of individual rights and protection. You have to protect the individual in what you call democracy. You must protect individual rights and liberties from the tyranny of the majority. Because if the majority vote that you should die, you should not exist, That means that you can't, because you think that a certain way, that you should worship on a Saturday. If the majority think that they're supposed to worship on a Sunday, they should kill you. I like to take things to the extreme so that you understand the problem if you don't find a balance and if you don't find equity.
Mr. Chesley, there's a caller. Bearing in mind that you still have to answer the question of
Trinidad and Tobago.
Go ahead, caller. Caller.
Good day to everybody.
Yes.
Good day to everybody, and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners, from the sins and from hell, through faith only, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, first of all, I would like to say, really and truly, the root of the problem is not being addressed, and that's not surprising to me. You see, with all due respect, all man-made documents that they say is the Constitution and the supreme law of the land is really a satanic usurpation of the Bible, being the real Constitution and the supreme law of all lands, including St. Kitts and Nevis. And until we get that right, we will always be going down the road of destruction. You see, man come up with the man-made documents is what the Bible, as the Constitution and as the supreme law of the land, is what the Bible condemns as man doing what is right in his sight and man leaning on his own understanding, which the Bible all condemns. But this is what all these man-made constitutions and so-called supreme law of the land and so-called constitutions represent. Man playing God. The God set up the Bible as the only law and as the only supreme constitution of the whole earth.
And I always say to you, Greg, that you are I mean, that is just your belief.
And that's how we should start, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And continue.
Yeah.
Because unless he has divine understanding and God is speaking to him,
that's what I keep
only
telling him.
And directly, then he cannot even speak for God.
That's it.
Well, I believe the Bible is the revealed mind of God.
And the key word there is, and the key phrase is, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
And continue now.
I believe. And the Bible says, the just shall live by faith. And we walk by faith and not by sight.
Right.
So yes, I believe this, and the Bible also tells me, speak what it says, and I believe I should be doing that as well. If you want to reject it, that's up to them and God. But this is what I'm saying from my perspective of what I believe about the Bible. Once we continue to go down this road of rejecting the Bible as the only true supreme law and constitution of our land, as it is, as the Bible says, and of the whole world, we will continue to go down this road of destruction, confusion, undoing, pain, suffering, misery, and all of such. And the only answer is the Bible, and the only solution to all of our problems and so on is the Bible. But we have to start with the Bible, not with man-made documents, including the so-called.
But the Bible is a man-made document, Greg. This is what we are saying. It is your belief otherwise, but the Bible is a man-made document, because you cannot give us emphatic proof that God put it together. We know that men put them together.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, man cannot prove anything. All that we hold to is based upon our beliefs. All that we hold to, whether you hold to this man-made constitution, it is your belief.
But we can prove, Greg, we can prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that the Bible has been put together from different factions by men. We can prove that.
Who are these men? May I ask?
You keep asking those questions, and we can't go into.
You have the King James version. You have all kind of persons version. I want good version. I want good version.
Translation.
I need Gregory's version.
No, it's in my version. I'm talking about the Bible as it was originally written and
bring the script for me.
Apostles and prophets of God.
Bring the script for me.
We don't have the original script. The Bible as
we have copies of the original script.
But the Bible as we have it today, Greg, is not the original script.
But we have copies of the original script, and we can reconstruct the original script through the copies of the original script.
And your
So we
reconstruction
know what was originally
and
written.
your reconstruction is due to your dependent upon your interpretation.
Yes.
No, not my interpretation, but based upon the manuscripts that has been preserved. And through a scientific field called textual criticism, the original, what was originally written and updated by the apostles and prophets of God can be reconstructed.
No,
Can be reconstructed.
I say to you emphatically no. You know why? Because even to today,
They're still
people-
interpreting the
that's-
hieroglyphics.
That's it.
Even up to today, they're still interpreting the hieroglyphics.
Interpreting a document and reconstructing what was originally written are not one and the same thing, you know. They're not one and the same thing.
How not so? Because you can only come to a conclusion. You can only come to a conclusion from your present understanding, and as your understanding evolves, then you come to a different conclusion. And if they're still trying to decipher
What was written?
that, how can you come to a conclusion?
No, when you're interpreting, you're trying to get the message that the document is saying. When you're reconstructing through textual criticism, you're trying to reconstruct what was originally written.
And you see those words
That's the
trying
difference.
to, you see those words trying to? Those are the weak
Well,
points.
but everything we do by man's effort and energy is we try to do whatever.
But that is what we're
But
saying.
even the apostles, right, have different versions
Yes.
of Jesus on earth. You know, you say you
No,
don't read the
no,
same
that's
thing
not
in
true.
Matthew as you read in Mark.
And
No,
he's
that's
well
not true.
aware
There's
of
no
that.
contradiction.
Well,
They're all
he-
consistent with each other.
I like the word
There's
consistent.
no contradiction. They're all consistent.
I like the word consistent.
They're perfectly consistent with each other. There's no contradiction
I like the
whatsoever
the word
in all the
consistent.
Bible.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, we can kick against the goats, we can kick against the pricks, but the end result is, as Jesus Christ referred to the Bible as the Word of God. Jesus Christ referred to the Bible as a supernatural document, as well as the apostles and prophets of
Jesus
God.
also said, I am the word.
He is the Word, and he said he is the Word, and also that he would lead his apostles and prophets into all truth for them
He's
to
the
learn
word.
as
He
well.
is the He is the bread.
Yes, and the Bible is the mind, the word of Jesus Christ.
I love that.
Okay.
Listen to me now,
Yeah.
Greg.
So in other words, Jesus is the word incarnate, and the Bible is the word written.
Right. And I'm going to tell you this. I like the fact that you use the word believe, because the same scripture says, be still and know that I am God. Right? Not, don't believe that I am God, you know. Be still and know. So I want you to then, when you come back to me next time, come back with what you know and the knowledge of what you know.
No, because the scripture shows you that true knowledge comes from correct belief, which is based upon the Bible.
Correct belief.
That's how you
I
get
like
true
that.
knowledge.
I like that. And
In
belief is
other words,
individual.
That is almost
No,
like
no, in
that is
other words,
almost like a
no.
contradiction or an oxymoron.
No, because
I like that.
No, because everything has axioms. Everything has axioms. Everything has postulates.
Okay.
Everything has assumption. And knowledge is built upon those axioms. Axioms, you cannot prove them. You could only demonstrate
Really?
them.
That-
Science is built upon axioms.
Really? I like that, Greg. I like you.
Okay,
Look
Greg,
about
Greg,
axioms.
you're moving.
We do not want to continue infinitum.
Yes.
So wrap up your point.
Yes. So my conclusion to all of this is, like I say, unless we come to recognize the Bible as the only true supreme law and constitution of our federation, as the Bible says it is, and of the whole world, we will continue to go down the road of destruction, confusion, misery, torment, and all of such, because only the Bible has all the answers and all the solutions that we need for all areas of life, in all of life. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay.
You see, I like to interact even with Gregory. Some people don't like to interact with
I
him.
interact
but,
with him
but,
all
but,
the
but,
time.
but the issue is, you see how when you can move the discussion even from him along by showing him that there are other ways to whether to square the circle or to circle the square. You understand? These things are important. Let me deal with the Trinidad and Tobago issue. Right? If you followed the campaign for Kamala Prasad Bisesa, there were times when she was talking about stand your ground legislation and empty the clip because crime was a serious issue in Trinidad and Tobago. And she felt what people call the right-wing politics that, listen to me, we need to put more firearms in the hands of ordinary law-abiding citizens so that they are protected in their homes to deal with the scourge of crime, right? Now, consistent with that is fighting the cartels and fighting the drug influence and so on. So her domestic policy and her international policy, whether it is right-wing Trumpism kind of a politics, I can say that is consistent.
But
I don't see why people are up in the arms now, thinking that it's not consistent.
I understand that what you just explained, but shouldn't she be, or shouldn't an individual be rationally capable of understanding their internal policy and not widen it to the whole wild world perspective?
I am with you, but the issue is we were using this word, unique.
Yes.
Even in the Caribbean, Trinidad is unique. 1 from 10 leaves 0. You understand? They're the only one at the time that had Pitch Lake and oil and all sorts of things. And they didn't decide remember, they host the West Indies Federation, you know.
Yeah.
It was in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And then I ain't even say they left, they throw us out.
They throw us out.
Yeah. You understand? Because it's not even like they left. Mm-hmm. So you have to understand that Trinidad and Tobago politics is uniquely different. And that's a contradiction or oxymoron.
Yeah.
You understand? From what we are dealing with. And consistent in that, articulating that policy, whether it's the oil with the US, ExxonMobil, and Guyana, and aligning yourself with that, or aligning yourself with Trinidad, Venezuela, and Russia. Because Russia said they're on the side of Venezuela. You know?
Yeah, and China.
And if I have 80% of my trade with the US, whether it's Trump or Kamala Harris, I have to decide which route I'm going. Am I going to be on the side of the politics where 81% of my trade is with the US, and I'm going to then invite in ExxonMobil and align myself with that? I'm going to align myself with Venezuela, Russia, who I have less than 20% of my trade with. I don't see the inconsistency. And that is why I told Gregory, I love the word consistent. Because even in court, an inconsistency is said to be a lie. A discrepancy you could resolve. But when you are inconsistent, they say, if you are inconsistent, it is not the truth. So therefore, the fact that her internal politics that she campaigned on and her foreign affairs are consistent, I don't see why we're making any noise.
Well, even though I concurred before that, yes, I understand what you're saying, I still feel that, and I feel this is where our leaders are lacking. Because you spoke about evolution in different things. And I'm saying our leaders should be able to envision that there's an evolution happening right now. And one of the aspects of the evolution is that we now realize that the U.S. Way of dealing with business, because of going back to the power structure, is no different from Europe's colonial policies, because they want maximum output and minimum input back to you.
Amen.
And so our leaders are supposed to be able to envision, for instance, what is happening in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, where they kicked out the French, who were taking that maximum output and giving them a marginally minimum input, and dealing with people who are giving them a balanced input in terms of fair trade. So what you want to tell me, she can't envision that this is the evolution that is about to happen and be diplomatic in it?
And look at it. She has 80% of her trade with the U.S. The first person to visit the Prime Minister of India. She is making diplomatic relationship with Saudi Arabia. Right? In her first government, she had the president of China there.
Yes.
So you see, her politics is consistent for what Trinidad, Trinidad wants to pivot.
And that is what
where
I'm
Trinidad
saying.
wants to pivot.
But I am saying that she should be more diplomatic in it then. This is where she faltered.
And there's some people saying she should stop she should tone down the rhetoric.
Yes.
In order to do what she's doing.
That's it.
And I agree.
That's it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because if she speak less and do what is thing
You
and just leave
understand?
those sort of things.
That's the diplomacy there.
The diplomacy.
Yeah.
But you see, I think it's a double-edged sword. Because some people feel that because it's a woman, if a man was doing these things, everybody would think it's okay. But because it's a woman, oh, she's senile, she drunk, she this, she that, so woman can't be doing these things. He has to be she ain't know what she's doing.
Well, I never brought in that.
I am simply saying, but that is what is out there. That is what they're spewing out there. Because a woman shouldn't be able to hold her own with a foreign policy that isn't following. She can't lead.
Well, it comes back to what I just said. For me, it is not about whether she's male or female. It's about whether she has the wherewithal to use rational in terms of
rationality, yeah.
In terms of diplomacy, tact. I'm gonna be mild here, as you say, speak less,
yes,
and let certain things play out. Because, as you pointed out, she's already showing that she wants to. She sees the trend. She sees the evolution. So. Be silent, be quiet, let it play out.
Let it play out because Trump is not going to be there unless he has a coup for more than 4 years.
Yeah.
Unless Trump has a coup, Trump is going to move on. She's going to still need to do business with the US.
That's it, yeah.
Right? Exxon and thing. So therefore, at the end of the day, she has, but if she just wait and sit down on her hands, she's going to be a lame duck and a one-term government.
No one told her to wait and sit
right,
down on her hands.
But that is what the PNM would like. So they don't want her to be pivoting to China, the United Arab Emirates, and bringing in some consistency with Exxon, Guyana, and the US. Yeah. They don't want that because they want her to say, we don't have any money. They have already shut down Petrotrin, and therefore, what are we going to do? We can't implement our programs. We can't go and deal with more fossil fuels in this environmental, sustainable gases
project.
Evolution of the environment, yeah. Increasing global warming.
Yes, yes.
Right? So they want us to say, well, with all of that, I can't do anything in terms of this environmental crisis. She said, no, I am going to double down. I'm going to drill more. I'm going to do more.
But Mr. Chesley Hamilton, yeah. I don't take that part because we know what oppositions tend to do. They speak one thing, and when they get in power, it's a different thing. So I'm not even bringing in the opposing faction.
But that is,
I'm speaking about...
that is where she has, again, tried to be consistent with her politics, just so that some people don't like it. And I think because that's what she got, that's the agenda she got elected on. We might not like it because it's in the sexy thing. And that is why she had a different speech at the UN to most of us.
But it's not that it's just not sexy, Mr. Hamilton. It's that it's not rational thinking when you envision a future. Where I don't agree with that because here's where I agree with you. She should have been more quiet on certain things and speak and push forward on the things that she really see are evolving. For instance, the Dragon deal, she should have been quiet on that. She should not have gone up there and be in the proximity of Marco Rubio, where he's making all these ridiculous statements about this man done been tried and indicted in the US of A, and he's a criminal and blah, 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 and not looking at the fact that his present leader has been to court and you understand what I'm saying? So she should have used more tact and diplomacy. That is my aspect.
I am with you in terms of tact and diplomacy. However, I'm going to say this. I don't want her to be lying by omission. Mm-hmm. I prefer her to do anything by commission. So therefore, if she's out there speaking, she's going to make errors of commission rather than errors of omission. And I think she has to lead, because if she doesn't lead, she will be taken for granted. So she's going to make some errors.
Yeah.
But you can't say she is not showing her own leadership.
But the leadership to me is
before
not
we end-
singing. We have a caller here.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes. Your answer to the first question of the letter and the spirit, what it sounds to me, in a nutshell, is that you're practically admitting that the law, there is some subjectivity in law. It's not all about objectivity and facts. Okay?
It's not an exact science.
Okay, right.
Continue.
Okay. Well, that has implications, though, for the confidence in justice.
Oh, yeah.
That's another story.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. With regards to Kamla, though, I guess I was wondering more if it was her political instincts or her personal traits that is responsible for the position she's taken. Because to me, it seemed as if, you remember when Reagan invaded Grenada, and you had Eugenia Charles,
Yep.
and everybody felt that she was taking on the posture of a Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's not the same thing here, where, because, and you introduced the gender thing, okay, she has to show herself as different, as strong, otherwise the men would run all over her, right? And to me that's unfortunate. I mean, how you put it just now, it makes it sound as though being consistent and unprincipled is a good thing.
I like how you put it, because you may think it's unprincipled. Somebody else may say it's constantly principled. Consistently principled.
How could it be consistent? It's not a Trinidad thing, by the way, to be non-aligned, so to speak.
Continue.
Right? Because Rowley before her wasn't. I don't know if it's a
Man named
ethnic
Rowley,
thing,
go ahead.
But Trinidad on the international scene has been pretty measured in terms of they don't go into the black thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why I say unprincipled.
Yeah.
In the sense that you give the thing about the trade, 80%. I'm sure Barbados probably is even more attached to the U.S., but you don't find them coming out with these bellicose statements and so on, right? And by the way, right, the U.S., yes, they can do what they like in the region. They can come in and impose what, right? But they still want a fig leaf of, what shall we call it? They still like to think themselves, of themselves as moral and just and all of that, okay, and doing the right thing, okay? And so it's important to them to have, like what the Grenada Governor General was, that fig leaf inviting them in, or somebody in the region like Kamla telling them they're doing the right thing, come on, let's get this thing going, rather than they alone imposing the will in the region. I honestly feel that it's still an issue for them, okay? And there are other countries in the Caribbean, Colombia, Panama, all those countries, that must be looking at this and saying this is not what we want for our region.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold, Mr. McMahon. Hold a second. There's another caller, and we're running out of time. Hello, caller. Let's hear your voice.
Yes. Good morning to you guys, man. Sorry that I have to chime in so late, but I got.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to be very brief because we're almost out of time.
Okay. Straight to Chesley Hamilton. I understand that there's an important case in Nevis that's against the premier, right? And the premier has put in a motion to strike out that case, and he was denied. And thus, since then, that case is sitting there, not being advanced, not even being taken up by any one of the judges over there. I want to get some comments on that. Even if you don't comment now. We can come back at this later on. And then the leader of the NRP says that she wrote a letter to the Attorney General about the constitutionality of that SSD law, and some weeks now, or from since that law was passed, and no response up to now. And then thirdly, regionally, I'm seeing an article saying that the leader of Trinidad and Tobago is trying to get out of the CARICOM. And I want to just
I don't believe that latter
the
one.
things in perspective.
I don't believe the latter one, but yeah. So those are your three questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
well, the get out of CARICOM thing, I'm going to answer it this way. The U.S. can deal with China and still be a supporter of Taiwan. But we have to choose one or the other. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. We can do the to China policy too.
Yes.
And therefore, if we have a chance to play the United States and still deal with China or whatever, or some of CARICOM are going this way and that, we have to be mature enough to walk and chew gum at the same time.
That is why I say use tact and diplomacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have to all talk the same way or walk the same way.
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
am basically saying
go
when
ahead,
it comes
Mr.
to that,
McMahon.
I
Go
think
ahead.
we could answer that one that way.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. McMahon.
That's playing both sides.
And
that's
yes,
another
but
word.
I'm
We
with
could call
it.
it a euphemism, but that's another word for unprincipled.
Well,
okay.
I disagree with you.
You go
I
ahead.
disagree with you on that, Mr.
So we
McMahon.
must be one track minded.
I believe that this is where tact and diplomacy. I don't have a problem with playing both sides.
Amen.
I do not.
Is what's in the best interest of our people, and we must know that. What's in the best interest of our people?
Chesley. So if to be practical, China is probably would probably be in a better position to give us so much more than Taiwan. So should we go with China?
You don't want the answer from Chesley. You don't want the answer from Chesley.
It goes to the core of everything.
You do not want that answer from Chesley. Because you first thing you're gonna bring in Pam and you're gonna bring in Taiwan and you're gonna bring all kind of things. So you don't want that answer from Chesley.
I would like to hear how Chesley would handle this.
No.
Huh? Man, don't bring in nobody else. Don't bring in Pam and who brought them here first. And how would Chesley handle
Whatever, listen to me. If China is going to give Economic Development Organization, is going to give St. Kitts and Nevis $2 billion to build the tunnel to Nevis and to develop our infrastructure, remodel our roads and railway and everything else and so on, I go on China tomorrow. I go on China. Me and Idlin. You think Chesley Idlin?
But anyway, the last point I'd like to make is that why...
And let me tell you something principle.
Let him finish it. Mr. Chesley, let him finish
Go
his
ahead.
point. Go ahead, Mr. McMahon. Finish because we're out of...
Why couldn't you persuade Kamala, just coming in fresh and so on, to try and solve the issues between Guyana and Venezuela and elections, come in with some kind of plan rather than this, I don't even know what you want to call it, policy. Come in with something fresh and a different perspective to solve the issue, because Maduro is under pressure right now, and so he might have been more amenable to some kind of settlement and continue the area as a zone of peace, rather than have the U.S. come in and impose its will on the area.
I guess you didn't read the backstories.
I guess he does.
I guess you didn't read the backstories of the whole PNM during COVID, dealing with Maduro and so on, and the dragon gas, and therefore it would have been difficult for a UNC government to oppose that and run that as a scandal that was happening during COVID, and then come in and then still buy into the same thing. They had a different strategy and a different route towards what they wanted to do. We don't have the time, but I'm just simply telling you, there's a backstory behind all of that. Not for me to.
Backstory doesn't matter, Chesley.
No. I am not telling you that is not my obligation.
What Huh?
That's not my obligation. I am simply saying, if you read the backstories, you will understand that UNC has a different pathway.
Mr. McMahon, with all due respect, I think you're putting too much, expecting too much from Mr. Chesley Hamilton. Remember? Yeah. I mean, it is completely unfair, that last question. I mean, come on, he can
ask
only
me to do that.
You understand?
No, but I've heard him say that he has Trinidad contacts and influence already.
Yes, but to what extent?
That's why I brought it in.
Yeah, but
No. And those are not in terms of the government. That is in terms of me and a personal relationship. Not to the government.
Yes.
And why it can't be Chesley?
No, well,
Somebody has to be the adult in the room.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna defend Chesley on
Thank
this
you,
part.
Quinn. Thanks for protecting me, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Mr. McMahon, you take care. So wrap up now.
Yeah, I want to wrap up. I have 1 minute to deal with something that I want you to the public to chew on. To bring it home and to park the plane at the gate. In Nevis, what the specialized zone would create is something I call a distinct insular society. Listen to the phrase.
Yes.
Distinct, not specialized, but a distinct insular, because it is inside a minority population.
I like that word, insular.
Insular.
And I agree with you.
Society.
Yes, I agree with you.
And therefore, if you have a distinct insular society in a federation, that is protection upon protection upon protection. And that is like creating within the UN the what you call the executive there where they have the veto.
I can't remember, Super 5 or...
You understand?
Yeah.
Where they have a veto over everything?
Yeah.
It is like creating that within Nevis.
And it is
where there's the Security Council.
And it is a recipe...
It's like providing legislative protection for a Security Council within the already protected population of Nevis within the Federation, giving them even more protection.
And that would
therefore... That is a recipe, my word,
for disaster,
for an apartheid society.
I was going to say it is a recipe for disaster, but you bring it more specific.
In the political sphere, that is like creating an apartheid zone.
Yeah.
And therefore, anybody want to take me on upon how I have parked I have landed the plane and I have parked it at the gate. Anybody know who wants to take me on and my analysis of a distinct insular society within our political federation, I am ready for the debate. Okay. Thank you and God bless.
Okay, and that's how we bring an end to Inside the News for today. It has been a rather intriguing discussion. We look forward to seeing you again in the next 2 weeks, Mr. Chesley Hamilton. In the meantime, do take care.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your good